Hello mates, Finley here. Welcome to Budgie Gaming. Today I want to talk about South of Midnight. It's a game that I think a lot of gamers are sleeping on, but I honestly don't blame this on the gamers. It's not like South of Midnight got a ton of marketing out of Xbox. So, I wanted to make this video to share my opinions on the game, why I think it's a great game for cozy gamers, and hopefully spread a little more South of Midnight awareness. Now, I know this game has been out for a little while now, and I know the game has received mostly positive reviews, which I definitely think it deserves, but I've seen some reviewers say odd things like, I don't know who this game was made for. Well, for one thing, it's clear that this game is made for people who enjoy the very things this game has to offer, which is great storytelling, whimsical characters, and a beautiful art direction. Then that got me thinking, who exactly are these people who enjoy these types of games? And that's when I realized that this game is perfect for the cozy gaming community. I mean, this game checks all the cozy gamer boxes. Great story, beautiful graphics, a lovable cast of characters. Well, mostly anyway. But most importantly, this game is extremely accessible to gamers who either don't enjoy combat or just feel like they're not good at it. There are a decent amount of customizable options to choose from. For example, want to do basic fights but skip the boss fights? You can do that. Want to skip basic fights but only do boss fights? Well, I don't really recommend this, but the option is there if you'd like. Or maybe you want to play where you skip all basic battles and boss fights so you can enjoy the story and atmosphere without any stress. Yup, you can do that too. If you do decide on trying the combat, I found it simple but satisfying enough. I've seen a few people complain about the combat being too simple, but I really don't see any issue with it. I feel like it was pretty clear beforehand that the game was more of a story and atmospheric game rather than a combat game. Honestly, the combat gets pretty fun once you power up your attacks and find different ways to trap enemies in the weave, which is basically like Spider-Man's web, where it paralyzes the enemy for a few seconds, which also increases your damage output. There is a part of the game they call chase sequences, where you're being chased by a thick fog that involves some light platforming. If you don't like platforming, you even have the option to skip these. Now, the chases I actually recommend trying at least once because I think they're a blast and actually not that difficult. Later in the game, they get a little bit tricky, but you'll know if you want to quit doing them before you get to that point. And honestly, it's still not that bad. There is also an easy mode in this game where you can do everything, including all fights and boss battles and platforming, but it's very easy and manageable. And let's be real, I've seen a lot of cozy gamers expressing their love for games like Zelda, Xenoblade, and the Trails series. If you can handle the combat in those games, you can easily get by in this game in medium difficulty. As far as traversing goes, it's impossible to get lost in the game, because if you're unsure where to go next, you have the option to use a guiding strand. These are little ghostly lights that tell you which direction you need to go. This is helpful if you're lost, but I honestly don't think you need it often since it's a pretty linear game. There are also collectibles throughout the game which help you increase your health, strength, and learn new attacks. There are also notes to collect that were left behind from other characters, which gives you more backstory and information on that particular character. While at times these notes don't get as detailed as I would have liked, they still add a nice touch for backstory. But yeah, this game has a decent amount of collectibles that'll encourage you to explore its beautiful landscapes. The atmosphere and art direction are top-notch in this game. Between the Southern Gothic charm, the stop-motion animation, the breathtaking landscapes, and the adorable yet sometimes a little creepy character design. Yeah, totally top-notch. The amount of times I stopped to take in the scenery or watch the forest animals go about their lives happened far too many times than I care to admit. Speaking of the forest animals, the developers did a great job with making the forest feel alive with their presence. Whether it's foxes, raccoons, beavers, or birds singing in the background, this world feels very much alive even though you're alone most of the time. The story in this game is almost as beautiful as the art style. Without spoiling anything, the gist of the story is the playable character, Hazel, and her mum Lacey are preparing for a hurricane. Lacey gets swapped away in the storm, so you're spending the game as Hazel looking for Lacey. Along the way, Hazel, who is extremely likable and funny but a little bit selfish, finds out just how selfless her mother truly is, even though it didn't always feel that way to Hazel. During your journey, you come across a cast of quirky and whimsical characters who add a lot of charm to this game, such as the giant talking catfish, Hazel's plushie, Crouton, and many more interesting side characters. Each chapter has its own side story that is usually depressing but beautiful at the same time. There is a good chance that if you're a sensitive person, this game might make you tear up a few times, as this game deals with darker themes such as loss, regret, grief, murder, trauma, and a few other heavy subjects that I can't talk about due to spoilers. As dark as the story is, it never feels bleak and hopeless. Characters like Hazel and Catfish keep the mood on the lighter side. Even if you aren't particularly a fan of darker stories, I very much believe it is worth giving this game a shot just to experience the world and the characters who inhabit it. Probably the most shocking thing to me was the music for this game. I know we're early into the year, but this game absolutely needs to win an award for its soundtrack. Yes, it's seriously that good. I'm not even a massive fan of the genres you hear in this game, but the way they use music to either carry the story along or give you deeper character insight is absolutely amazing, and is something I don't recall seeing any game do before. It almost gives the game a musical vibe in the way they carry the story through music. But there are a few downsides for me. The biggest one is I wish Hazel and Lacey got more screen time together, especially in the earlier part of the game. Their dialogue and relationship felt so genuine, and I wanted to see more of that. But sadly, it cuts to action very quickly. Also, if you decide to do the combat, the final boss is pretty disappointing as well, which is a shame because the rest of the boss designs in this game are beautiful. I also wish it explored the horror elements a bit more. The game definitely has creepy moments and has a cool Alice in Wonderland meets Coraline with a sprinkle of Snow White vibe, but it never gets scary like I was hoping. While that is a negative for me, I'd imagine it'll be a plus for most cozy gamers. I played this game the day after launch on the Series X and had no performance issues whatsoever. So I'd imagine there are absolutely no issues at all if you were to play this game today. Also, I've seen some people say things like, the frame rate is awful. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I honestly don't think these people have ever seen a stop-motion animation film in their life. The frame rate is perfectly fine. It is the stop-motion effect that they're confusing with frame rate issues. I had no issues with it at all, but if for some reason it bothers you, there is an option to turn this effect off. I can't speak from experience, but I've heard this game runs quite well on the Steam Deck too. The game retails at $40, which I feel is a great price, especially since so many games cost $60 to $70 and soon to be $80. To make it even better, at the time of publishing this video, it is on sale for $32 on Steam and Xbox. The game can also be found on Game Pass Ultimate if you're already subscribed to that service. Overall, I feel like this game is a must-play for anyone who is looking for a whimsical game with a unique setting, beautiful art style, quirky characters, and a slightly creepy atmosphere without ever going full-on horror. I'd also say this is a must-play if you're a fan of Alice in Wonderland, Snow White, Coraline, or even stop-motion films in general. When playing this game, I was thinking, my god, I can't wait to get this physically on the PS5. Hopefully it comes with an art book and steelbook. But judging by the recent physical releases such as Doom and Indiana Jones, Microsoft will most likely do a shitty job on a South of Midnight physical release like they did a shitty job for the other two. The only hope of getting a decent physical release greatly depends on how much a compulsion game has in the matter, because I would trust them to make the right decision. Either way, it is a shame because I would love to support this game, but there really isn't a reason to buy it digitally on the Xbox when I already have Game Pass. Alright now, have you played South of Midnight yet? If so, what did you think of it? If not, what the hell are you waiting for? If you found this video helpful or enjoyable at all, please hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell so you will know when I release new content. Okay, everyone. Be sure to join me for the next one. Take care, mates.
Sorry I woke you up, baby Sherry. You hush now. Going back to sleep, okay?
See, nothing's ever really lost. Lost.